how many beavers have been reintroduced to Scotland? It's actually only 17.
Thank you very much. We're into the final part of this morning's show. David, Kay, Peter and your good selves are going to tell us what you think about a plan to reintroduce beavers to England and Wales. 0207 173 5555 is the number for your thoughts. It's also, I should tell you, out of all the emails we've had on condoms, only 2 negative ones so far, which is great. And one of those said we handled it well, the discussion. Beavers leads nicely into beavers, doesn't it? Beavers have been...
Let's see if you handle the beavers as well.
Now, beavers have been extinct in Britain for some 400 or 500 years. We hunted them to death because they tasted good and were believed to have medicine in their glands. They were brought back to Scotland a year ago, although are yet to roam wild. They've been sort of held in a normo pen, if you like. But there is now talk of releasing beavers in England and Wales. The 17 Scottish beavers, they're going to be set free in May, I believe, in southwest Scotland. And it's hoped their dams will act like filters, removing sediment from water, leading to lower bills, which seems incredible. They are unbearably cute, aren't they? Some experts think that by clearing debris, though, they will also reduce the risk of flooding. But the anti-beaver brigade fear that beavers will eat trees, crops, stop salmon reaching their spawning grounds and actually increase the risk of flooding. There you go. I bet that's from Canada. 2,000 people depend on the wild salmon industry in Scotland in particular for their jobs. Other countries have reintroduced beavers, have lived to regret it, I have to say. Beavers were taken to Chile and Argentina in the 40s, where they wreaked havoc, they ate loads of trees, they ruined the ecosystem. And as we know, reintroducing animals is always contentious. 30 years ago, the magnificent sea eagle was brought back to Scotland 200 years after it was wiped out, and now farmers complain that eagles are killing their lambs. I would like to suggest that's a price worth paying. Interestingly, on Radio 4's Farming Today programme, which seemed to favour the sea eagle, there wasn't a single message in support of the beaver. So what does the panel think, Peter? Would you like to see beavers back?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, never having seen one in the wild, seen them on film, I know that they're fairly endemic in North America. But what we have in this country, until about 30 years ago, there was an animal which I think is related. It's another giant type of rodent, which is called the coypu. And that was in Norfolk and Suffolk. And it finally died out there, probably because the eco-structure, you know, the hedges were cut down so the farmers could farm easier and that sort of thing, which was a great mistake. And I think that killed them off, ultimately. But I'm not sure that they were ever regarded as a great animal to have around. They were rodents.
Like
they did
rats,
a fair
really,
they were. They did a fair amount of damage. But I gather they did keep the water systems fairly clean. I'm told that would be a benefit. The water companies think that would be a benefit, but I don't know. I mean, beavers, I must say I don't have a very firm conviction that this is something that we ought to do. But any conservation of an animal or a bird which used to live here, that we've lost for whatever reason, might be an interesting thing to do. Whether or not it has value, I don't know.
I cannot imagine for 1 minute that Britain would be overrun by beavers like we are with squirrels. I just can't, I really can't imagine.
I mean, there's so many places where it couldn't survive anyway.
Exactly. So it's different from squirrels. Kay, I mean, Scotland's already got them, going to be running wild soon. I know the salmon brigade up there are deeply worried.
You're a member of that, aren't you?
I don't salmon fish. It's too weird. I trout fish, and they'll get through the dams OK.
Well, I mean, I'm ashamed to say that I didn't know that there were beavers in Scotland.
Argyll.
Clearly, in Argyll. Well, that's up the north. You said they were coming down.
Is Argyll? I can't remember. No, I said southwest Scotland as well, I was told. I thought it was
Argyll's
Argyll, but that's up north.
I think I know that much, I think there would have to be a proven case, wouldn't there? And clearly it's still under some kind of debate. I mean, we have a kind of evolution as a fairly natural thing. They're clearly not there for a reason.
Well, we ate them all.
Yeah, well, whatever, you know, that's the law of the jungle, as they say.
Whatever.
Whatever. I'm such a townie, you know, I'm just...
But you might benefit from cheaper water bills.
Well, that's always good. I am Scottish and I do like cheap things.
Is that racist?
Yes.
Is that racist against myself?
I don't know, in this day and age, it's difficult to tell.
You know, but it's a fairly kind of esoteric discussion, isn't it? I mean, people...
Well, no, because the Sea Eagles debate, I listen to Farming Day all the time, and you hear, you know, Scottish farmers, a bit fairly tough in the Highlands, and they say that, you know, their lambs are regularly being taken by Sea Eagles, although a lot of pro-Sea Eagle people say this is nonsense, they're being taken by foxes or whatever.
How many would be taken?
Well, that's what I would think.
Always,
is it a price worth
There are
paying?
always conflicting views. I mean, if you go back to the good old fox hunting debate, which is a kind of classic, isn't it? You've got one side who says that actually this is great to have hunting because it actually helps the countryside, and then you've got another who believe vociferously. I mean, who is right? How do you prove right in these cases?
I think you do have to look at the countryside management, and Peter's point about larger fields is absolutely right. It was the wrong thing to do. It's much easier to farm that way. But then one of the biggest issues we see around Britain is flooding. And if the beavers do contribute to that and actually stop those floodplains developing, or at least somehow mitigate what could be disastrous to many people in the country.
But no one can agree on the flooding.
Those are urban areas where the floodplains are dangerous to people, and the flooding that we get in the towns like Northampton, prime example, they had great floods there, and those water meadows and things, they're not going to be, they won't survive in those areas. It's not going to be that. It's going to be where there's going to be forestation. Moving water.
Killing trees. We need trees to stop global warming, and here we are talking about introducing
But in North America, didn't the trees then adapt themselves to the fact that beavers were introduced, and they became hardier as a result and could regrow once the beavers had gnawed the trees?
How do you guys know so much about beavers?
Boys have a lot of interest in beaver.
I did a show called Blue Peter.
And we live in the country.
Okay,
educational show.
I believe some of our viewers will be beaver experts too, so let's find out what you think. Shall we bring them back? Amy?
OK, got a lady from Devon. It's Jo on line 1.
Jo, good morning.
Hello, Matt.
So, would you like to see the beaver back in Devon?
Well, I think it would be a lovely idea. I do understand what your panel was saying about. Obviously, it is a rodent, and if they, breed, they breed in sort of tens and dozens and so forth. So they breed very quickly, and obviously being overrun in England with them could be a possibility.
Can you imagine that, Jo? I mean, can you really imagine being overrun by beavers? Because I can't. We just don't have. We don't have the environment for it.
Well, this is the thing. The proposed areas is one of the areas is Roadford Reservoir up on Oakhampton and Dartmoor, and it would be controlled. And it's an idea to see whether it's environmentally friendly to our waterways. Obviously, being surrounded by water, it would be a good idea to have something that can help us with our waterways.
Absolutely,
certainly.
absolutely. So that's a vote in favour, Jo. Thank you for that. One more quick one, please, Amy.
Then we've got Elizabeth then on line 2.
Morning, Elizabeth.
Morning, Matthew.
Would you like to see beavers back in Britain?
Yes.
OK, thank you. Let's have another quick one.
We've got Alan on line 3.
Alan, good morning.
Hello, Matthew. Good morning. No, I think the koi pews that Peter Purvis mentioned, they caused so much damage in Norfolk, and all the dikes and the drainage system were totally undermined. Terrible. Canada's a huge, great big country. We're a small country. The beavers would really cause a great deal of trouble here. So koi pews didn't die, as Peter mentioned, because of the hedges coming down. They were absolutely got rid of by the farmers. Because it caused a lot of trouble. They had koi pew people going out and poisoning them. They were introduced.
OK, Alan, enough. We're just having a laugh, mate. You're taking it far too seriously. Bring back the bittern, eh? That's what you want in Norfolk. Bring back the bittern, save the salmon, I say. We're all out of time. A huge thank you to Peter for joining us this morning. Really great to see you. Here's one I wrote earlier, is the book. Kay and David will see you tomorrow for the last ride, so give it up for our fantastic panel. Talking of tomorrow, the gorgeous Angelica Bell will be our special guest, while leading divorce lawyer Vanessa Lloyd-Pack returns to the sofa with more advice for anyone seeking a happy breakup. Thanks for watching today. Bye for now.